I've been in martial arts for many, many years now, and also being able to study quite a wide range of styles. What I felt Bruce brought to the martial art world was finally giving a kind of like a different way to look at it. It was finally here's somebody that took the traditional arts and was breaking it down in more of a scientific sense. He finally questioned not only why things work, but he broke it down to really figure out how it works. And to me, only by truly understanding of movement or a technique that you can actually improve it or get better yourself. And through Bruce's background in philosophy, he also, to me, brought a different meaning to all the I guess the more important parts of what martial arts is all about, the spirit, the philosophy of how to lead your life even, and use martial arts as kind of like a guide. I remember the first time I saw Bruce was out on the big screen in the theaters with the Big Boss. And you got to remember, growing up in America as an Asian American, I had virtually no Asian heroes to grow up with. And so now for the first time I saw this man who's a Chinese man kicking butt, and he was the hero. And it was just like this light bulb went off, like, wow, there's somebody that kind of looks like me and I can finally relate to. And I said, it was just this whole feeling just came over me. It was in a sense of kind of like giving you hope that, possibly I could be someone like that, or I can at least look to that person as a hero. What I saw, and to me what's my first impression of Bruce Lee, once he came on screen, you saw this spirit inside him. This is only something you can get from what you call a true martial artist. Not somebody like an actor who trains for 6 months and learns his, all the fight moves, but only from someone who has really captured the essence of what martial arts is really all about. Can you see that once he performs his moves, that this martial spirit comes out and through his eyes, and his focus is so concentrated, so passionate that you just get sucked into his energy. Finally, here was a man that almost transcended just being Chinese. He, in a sense, fought for the underdog. And also, I always remember in the movie that there's that sign, "No dogs or Chinese allowed." And when Bruce stood up and fought, and after the whole movie was done, and he kicked the sign, broke it to pieces, it's again, he's fighting for the little guy, the guy that doesn't get a chance to I guess prove himself. Bruce was not only a hero for the Asian people, but also he raised the level of what heroes are all about. He kind of went across the board and became a hero to everybody in the world. I would always think of Bruce almost kind of like an ambassador from the martial arts, or also from the Asian people, bridging this gap and promoting, in this odd sense, peace through the martial arts. And it's something that he brought with him as his energy as a human spirit, that people just came and felt comfortable to, I guess we go back to that whole feeling of giving people hope. And I think that's what all people can only ask for in life, is to have some kind of hope. And from that, once people are getting a sense of hope from somebody, or they can look at somebody and kind of get inspired to have hope in their life, that's what really separates the true legends from the ordinary man. Bruce Lee was truly a martial artist. And in fact, I think more so a martial artist at heart, at first. And through the vehicle of entertainment, through the movies, he was able to teach the world his art. And then I think through that approach, he brought the whole entirely different level to what he brought to the movies. When I first took up martial arts, it actually wasn't because of Bruce. It was, for some reason as a kid, it just felt like the natural thing to do, being Asian. And after taking martial arts for a while, I found Bruce as an influence, not particularly his style or anything, but again, as his spirit in the martial arts and what he brought to the world and having a different look at martial arts. Before, when you take whatever style it is in martial arts, you are always, locked into doing the very traditional moves, doing exactly what the master tells you. He brought this whole different way of looking at it. You can look at other styles. You can try to find what's good in other styles. And from that, you can only improve and get better because not one style has all the answers. And as you see with Bruce in his beginnings with Wing Chun, that he found all the great things from Wing Chun, but also looking at boxing, looking at savate, looking at wrestling. By bringing all that in, his level of expertise just exploded. When I saw Bruce playing Kato in The Green Hornet, it was just amazing. Here's this Chinese man, much smaller in stature, and really holding his own, if not taking over the screen against the Green Hornet. Through again his passion for life, you saw this energy come out through the screen, and it's pretty amazing to me. The Big Boss. This is when Bruce I guess he just exploded off the screen. Before, there was the type of fighting on kung fu movies were pretty much, they almost looked like you're doing a form. So there's kind of a set choreography. You can almost see choreography. So it's like bump, 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 bump. And it's this whole kind of almost mechanical type of movement. But when Bruce came on, what he again brought was this whole intensity and kind of like the whole spirit of martial arts. So in his punch, you really felt that what the meaning was behind the punch. He was there to knock you out. I mean, he was there to take care of business, period. So again, it was just like, whoa, this stuff can work. In Fist of Fury, Bruce Lee brought the subject of prejudice into his theme of the movie. And here again, here's a man that's truly fighting for what he believes in and what he's proud of. And even though he's fighting for the rights of the Chinese, people can really look at that and relate to that. He's fighting for whatever your belief is, and to fight with it with complete passion. And he was very successful with that. In Way of the Dragon, of course, one of the highlights were the big fight with Bruce and Chuck Norris. Again, we saw, I guess, truly some of the strategy, some of the technique behind Bruce's art. You finally saw Bruce playing around with footwork, playing around with broken rhythm. So he was able to bring all these things into the story, and so in a sense he was teaching you something of martial arts without, again, really say like, here's a lesson, but through entertainment he brought that through. The unfinished game of death, not the finished one. When I first heard of the idea, I said, this is brilliant. What a great thing to, again, it symbolizes going into this building, going and fighting up to higher levels and fighting different opponents. In a sense, not only for martial arts, it's kind of like how life is. You start at a certain level and you fight your way to the top, or you fight your way to success by facing different opponents or different styles, different degrees of difficulty. And in the same way, it's like life. And the only way to get through that, life is a battle. And you really have to meet the challenge and learn from each level to get better. So again, it's keeping open to learning different styles or different parts of life to improve yourself. Enter the Dragon. Now here's the all-time classic martial art movie. Again, finally bringing Hollywood production value to a martial art movie, which I don't believe was ever done before. It took away that the feeling of always having that label of a Hong Kong chop sake movie. We had American actors, we had an American director, cinematographer, so it brought a completely different look to the martial art movie. And I really feel that is finally what broke into the American audience what martial arts is really about, and became a calling card for Bruce. My favorite Bruce Lee film, believe it or not, is not a film. It's, to me, being able to watch Bruce Lee in one of his last interviews and watching Bruce Lee as a man speaking, not with scripted dialogue. That to me was such an insight into the man, which to me, Bruce Lee is beyond a movie star, beyond just a martial art personality. He is first and foremost a man who in a sense really cares. Supposedly that was one of his things that he wanted to bring across with his martial arts, is that in the sense of being an ambassador to the world through the martial arts and kind of promoting world peace. And I would like to even try to think of myself and do my part in trying to keep that going, and through the martial arts reach out to people in the world and saying, again, it's the whole philosophy of martial arts of learning to fight so you don't have to fight. So if we can all get that feeling going, I think that's what what martial arts is all about. I think he just found such a passion for the martial arts that he was, in a sense, almost consumed with getting better and learning more. That to me is something that we can all learn from. If we can find that same passion in whatever we do, you can only take it up to the master level. So whatever it is you do, whether it be computers or being a doctor, if you can find that same passion that Bruce Lee brought to his martial arts, I think that's what the true message is all about, what Bruce is trying to get across with his expertise.